orphans who have no one left. Let us give Gaza whatever help we can. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, South Africa.
Get ready for Green Thumbs Up, the gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. I'm your host and life coach, Rabia Carvalho, and we're talking birds, bees, butterflies and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al-Ansar.
Look at the sun, look at the sky, look at the birds
Radio Al-Ansar,
shining so bright.
Hey, you know what time it is. It is 12 minutes past 9 in the morning, and you're with me, Rabia Carvalho, here on Green Thumbs Up. Yes, the pulse of the planet. That gardening, natural living show you didn't know you needed. And this weekend, as you have heard on some of our adverts, of course, is the Agri Fair. And our show is a tad too early, Siboniso. It's a little bit too early to be out there because our staff would not be there. So we are in studio with you this morning, but we hope that you're going to get out to the Agri Fair and you're going to have lots and lots and lots of fun. But before you go, stay with us here on Green Thumbs Up as we talk today gardening, dearie darlings, gardening. And we have someone with us this morning who is really exciting, and I'll introduce her to you in a minute. I just want to do our necessary first of all, and that is of course to give you the weather. But Siboniso, before we go to the weather, I've got a few quotes that I thought were quite funny. Here's one. Plant and your spouse plants with you, but weed and you weed alone. All gardeners know better than other gardeners, and that apparently is a Chinese proverb, dearie darlings. Yes, and then a weed. A weed is a plant that has mastered every survival skill except for learning how to grow in rows. There we go, Siboniso. Yes, isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. And in fact, I think we should actually be like weeds, not like flowers. We should be, because weeds have flowers, right? But ornamental flowers can be busybodies and can be quite difficult to kind of manage. But if you are a weed, my little one, then you will grow wherever you are planted and you will bloom. And not only that, you will have wonderful medicinal benefits, I am sure. So, you know you're a gardener when you're happy to devote 3 months of your life to growing tomatoes just to save a couple of bucks. That's right, folks. But you're not just saving a couple of bucks, you're also saving the planet, because you are reviving the soil and all those wonderful good things. A quick look at the weather for you. Today's weather in Durban is actually 24 degrees, dearie darlings, but it is going to go up to 27. So we're at 24 degrees at the moment. And we'll have a little spot of rain on Tuesday, which is on the at 24 degrees centigrade. We're still going to have rain. So that little bit of rain, monkey's wedding on a Tuesday coming along. And then when Friday and Saturday will be a little bit overcast. But guess what? The temperature is riding higher. It's going to be 30 degrees. What is Siboniso chewing on? Oh, he has learned some stuff. Whole cloves. Hey, subhanallah. He's chewing on whole cloves. And you know what that's going to do, right? You know what that's going to do. It's an antiseptic for your throat. Yes, it's an antiviral. So if you have got a little bit of a sticky throat, a sore throat or whatever, cloves is where you do it, but it's also going to get rid of parasites in your body, so that's a good thing for you too. Just drink lots of water. Messages that have come in. Hafiza says, Salam, Sister Rabia. Walaikum salam. I was watching the tube and saw how to plant ilachi. It grows into a beautiful plant bearing lots of ilachi. Is it possible in our country to plant, and what is the best season to plant? Tell us more. Elachi, of course, is cardamom. And I'm going to give that question over to Lindsay when we speak to her. And because I know that she'll know the answer. I can assist as well, absolutely. But I want Lindsay to kind of field that question if she can. So that was the weather in Durban. Let's not forget where we're over here. Minding our P's and Q's in Johannesburg. Yes, they are. Ach, shampies, man. It is a little bit cold in Joburg. Our Joe burgers are not Joe burgers. They are Joe sausages. Because Joe sausages are still frozen. Yes. It is 13 degrees. Yes. Between 13 degrees and 16 degrees, the average temperatures of the week. Today, however, is still 24 maximum. Sitting at 17 degrees at the moment. Oh, shame piece, man. Ay, boo. And then Cape Town. Cape Town has got monkeys' weddings on Monday and Tuesday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday next week. And they're going to have rain with the sun. Rain with the sun. 4 days of temperature in Cape Town. 4 seasons of temperature in a day in Cape Town. What else is new? That's how the cookie crumbles. That's typical Cape Town weather for you, isn't it? But let's go to our guest because she is waiting for us on the line. And her name is Lindsay Gray. Who is Lindsay Gray? She is someone you want to know. Because Lindsay Gray is actually the founder and the principal of South Africa's oldest private garden design school. You see why I told you this lady comes with all the answers. Garden design is what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about all sorts of beautiful things. She's with the School of Garden Design. And guess what? Although Lindsay studied locally, as well as internationally, in garden design and horticulture. And yes, her school offers a wide range of in-house as well as correspondence courses, right? She is situated in Hillcrest, KwaZulu-Natal, and she offers in-house workshops in Gauteng as well. So this lady, Lindsay, is passionate and she is popping up everywhere. Yes, she is a good weed. A good weed, like me, a good weed. And so she is going to flower for us today, and she's going to talk to us this morning all about key things that you want to bear in mind when you are plotting out your garden. What do you want to consider? Now, I don't mean a garden as in maybe, this is only for people with 1,000 square meters. No, dearie darlings, this is also for those of you who are planting a little garden on your balcony. Something pretty that you can sit next to and have a cup of tea in the morning. So I want to welcome Lindsay to the show. Good morning and welcome to Green Thumbs Up.
Good morning, Rabia. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being with us today. And Lindsay, it was wonderful talking to you yesterday because truly you are a weed after my own heart. And the prettiest of weeds make the best medicine. And you are making medicine by helping people to heal the planet because you're teaching everybody how to do their gardens.
Well, I must say that is my passion. Not just about making. Sorry, are you going feedback from the speaker?
No, we can hear you perfectly. It is normal that you may hear a little bit of a repeat. That's okay on your end. We can hear you very well.
Perfect. So design is my passion. But like you, and I know you will. I get a sense that your passion is medicine and healing humans through plants, and that can be done across the spectrum.
Yes, and healing begins just with the planting. And people think it's only when you take the plant internally or externally. No, growing it is medicine of its own.
Precisely. It has been proven already that depression can be, if not cured, certainly controlled through planting, working with your hands in the soil. I tend not to go into details of everything, but I'm a more tactile person. And I know for myself, I'm meditating to save my life. Put me out into weeding. I solve all my problems. I come back inside. I'm fabulous, and that is what is recommended ecologists around the world.
You know, it's amazing that you say that, because we've had a few people that come on the show that haven't listened to the previous shows before, and they all have said the same thing. Weeding is a form of meditation and therapy, because there's something about yanking out the bad stuff and you're letting your subconscious do its thing, and you're also laying the ground open to the new possibilities. But let's talk about those new possibilities, Lindsay, because you have a lot of people that'll come to you and say, well, you know, I want to do gardening, or maybe I am a gardener, but I kind of want to start from scratch. What do I do? I don't have a lot of space, or maybe I have a lot of space, which I think would be overwhelming, but I have some space. Kind of, what do I do? What are some key principles that you could share with us today?
Okay, so what I'd like to start with is the first mistake that we all make as gardens, and I put myself on the list, and that is we go to a nursery, fall in love with a plant, we have to have it, we don't know where we're going to put it, we don't care where we're going to put it, we bring it home, plant it, and it either will work very successfully or it will be a failure to come. And the simple reason for that is that people forget that unlike interior design, plants continue to grow. Every day cells are multiplying, are growing bigger, taller, wider, crawling more. So they're taking up space. Control the garden. So it all gets down to planting. And this is where people get scared. I can't garden. I don't know how to garden. But the premise that you need to, as a gardener, new or old, or your garden needs a bit of a revival, is consider your needs. Consider the needs of you and your family. You're going to move through that space, where you're going to sit, how the sun shines, where the afternoon sun is, where the shade is. All of those play a pivotal role in establishing the balance of your garden. And so if I could just say, as gardeners, we are designing our space, and that's the space in which we work, dogs play, children sit outside, whatever the case is. And the plants are the decoration to that space. The plants are the garden to begin with. I know it's a bit of a mind, but if you think about how you would design a home, you wouldn't put the curtains up decided what the function of that home was going to be. And this applies even to a patio garden, which I could elaborate on if you'd like me to.
Absolutely, we'd love that. But we have a message from one of your old students that has popped in to YouTube. Yes. And so we've got a message from Fatima Ismail, and she says, Salam, Rabia. Lovely program as usual. So nice to see and listen to Lindsay again. I was fortunate to attend her garden design course in Hillcrest long ago, more than 10 years ago. So look at that. You are certainly changing lives and helping people and helping them with their gardens. How beautiful is that, Lindsay?
Well, can I just say a big shout out to her? She was one of my favorite students. And in those days, I used to visit a garden. I can't do that anymore. But I would love to connect with her if she dropped me a line sometime.
Absolutely. So Fatima, if you want to get a hold of us on the studio, WhatsApp 060-904-1056, and I will give you Lindsay's contact number so that you two can be in touch again. Green thumbs up, we're connecting the flowers now. How amazing.
Absolutely.
But you wanted to share with us, you had something to tell us about patios. Please do tell us.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to say God patios turning down my that don't think that you can't have a garden. You absolutely can. So a couple of things are going to come into play. First of all, the size of patio, the size of furniture that you can accommodate. What time of day you will sit on that patio. Some patios are really wonderful spaces for that early morning cup of coffee or coffee. They cool. The sun hasn't lit through there yet, and it's just a comfortable space. Then it might get a little bit hot until say 2 o'clock, and then it becomes a comfortable space again. So you need to decide what time of day are you going to sit outside. sort of space and furniture because you don't have to have delicate furniture for a patio. Sometimes bigger furniture looks more comfortable on a patio than small dainty stuff. But obviously, semantics are measure it out, take it to one of the store outdoor furniture and discuss it. Don't bully into buying something that you don't want. Consider the flooring you're going to put down. Because remember, on a patio you're going to be watering your plants, and that water is dripping out of the pot. So you do not want to slip. And that's key to older. Not even whatever toddler comes screaming through to mommy, and the next thing he has slipped his head open. So flooring, the kind of flooring you put on there is important. We could talk about drip trays and that later. But then I wanted to just talk about what style of garden would you like out there. You could for a very herb-like garden where you've got geranium, thyme, culinary enjoy herbs for tea, or you might want to go pickle because that's the vibe. The ocean, your site, so you want to go tropical. So you must decide. Don't you want to be one of these putting this here, that there, just because you don't know what to do. Take the time to sit down and actually strategize. Then you can go to any garden centre and clear your direction about what it is you'd like to buy. And I think that combined with colour, which we can chat about in a minute, combined with upholstery, fabrics you're going to do, all set the stage for the most cozy, magnificent and inviting patio.
I think what you have said has stayed with me, what you said in the beginning stayed with me throughout everything you're saying, and I find myself keep going back to it, where you said, build the garden around what you're wanting to use the space for. And that just completely gets to me, and I'm already thinking I'm going to go home and change my patio around because I'm surrounded. I have this little area at the entrance that is where I have all my lovely herbs, and I love that. But now you're talking, I'm saying, you know what? I hadn't thought I could extend that. Of course I can extend that to the patio. In the patio, I have my bonsais and I have the ornamental flowers that I like. But I love that. I'm going to use that. So please, yes, talk to us a little bit about colour. I'm just going to take a quick message that has come in from Sister Sarah Bibi Mustafa says, Assalamu alaikum to my dearest, beautiful, sweet, loving, oh my goodness, she's too kind, Rabia Carvalho, my salams and duas to you and the family and the entire Al Ansar. Hey, welcome with your beautiful opening with beautiful poems. I think you must teach little children preschool. Anyway, she says, my love and care to you all. Thank you for reading my message. Thank you so much, Jazakallah Sarah, for always messaging. She messages us these beautiful odes of love and peace and joy and happiness every Sunday. And so we just love her. So she is always bringing a little spark of colour to the show. Remember, folks, 90.4 FM is where you find us here in Durban, 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg, and you will find us audio streaming globally on Radio Al Ansar online, as well as video stream. You can catch myself and Lindsay right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of those beautiful socials, and that is through Radio Al Ansar being the tagline there. So we're back with Lindsay Gray, and Lindsay Gray is really one of the most experienced people I can tell you I've met just listening to her. She's an absolute gem, and she's going to take us through some of the color considerations when we're looking at designing our gardening space at this beautiful time when we can really make changes. So go ahead, Lindsay.
Sorry, Rabia, I'm just sitting in my tent and keep my dog away from the door.
Oh dear.
Trying to bash it down.
The domestics. These things are real.
Colour is exciting. It is psychological aspect of gardening, and you really have to embrace the colours that you enjoy most. So if you'll read for your listeners, download very basic colour Google. And I can also send them if you would like to email me. I've got one that I downloaded years ago. I give to my students. There are two main ways to work with colours. First of all, we must remember that green is a colour, and green comes in variations. All greens have got either blue or a yellow undertone. And it's when you put them together you will see that they possibly don't make clashing, or they will make a lovely combination. So for instance, in a succulent family, it's perfectly acceptable to put yellow greens and blue greens together. In fact, I see it often. In other circumstances, it might not work. You might find it's a bit of a discord, and you think, why is that not working? And that normally pertains to plants that have been hybridized. So all of your annuals, you colour petunias, poppies, or not so much petunias, pansies. They put them in six packs of colour. And then you plant them at home, and they look shocking together. So you just have to pay a little bit of attention. And then the quickest way to work with colour is two ways: contrasting colours and complementary. So on the colour wheel, colour that is opposite something else will give you contrast. Okay, so it can be a gentle contrast, be a vibrant contrast. So take yellow and purple, for instance. It is contrasting but complementary colour you find it often in gardens, especially in gardens. And you could say, I want a vibrant yellow with a vibrant purple, or you could say, I prefer a gentle yellow with a gentle purple. And you can do that right away around your colour wheel. So I always say to students, start with the plant you love the most. That plant you are not prepared to give away, and then work from that. And of course, in Durban particularly, we've got these gorgeous crotons with striped kinds, all kinds. And then people tend to want to put those crotons all together to make on show. But what it does is that you can't feel eventually. So I teach take that croton that really suits you. Move the others away, and then build on that by pulling colours out. The other way you can do it is to work with a harmonious colour scheme. So this is where you would again start with the colour that suits you, and work one way or the other into warm colours or down into your cooler colours. So I'd have to actually show you a colour wheel to demonstrate. So you could go from red with a yellow undertone, orange to yellow to lime green, or yellow green to green. Or you might say, no, I want to go the other way. On that same red, but it's got a blue undertone, in roses. And then I will work down to my mauve, maroon, violet, blue, green, the other way. So those are harmonious colour schemes, complementary. And especially just getting back to patios, remember that the colour history and cushions can play as vital a role in that setup as the colours of plants. So you could have an all-green patio. You could have vibrant coloured cushions.
Wow.
So isn't that exciting?
That's so exciting, because there's so many different kinds of greens. And when I moved to Durban, Lindsay, when I moved to Durban, I lived in Joburg all my life. Moving to Durban, I think the thing that I loved the most was I was looking forward to all of the green, because Joburg can be so grey, and it can be so brown and grey, and I call it all the
I've lost the sound, Rabia.
that comes up in the springtime throughout the grass, and then you've got a dark green and you've got the leaves. So to have that patio, but I'm sure in design what you're saying is that even the greens, they are not just a flat green. So then you would still look at either complementary greens, or greens that kind of set one another off.
Absolutely. And you know what has come big way is indoor plants. Oh gosh, they've made a comeback. People are making thousands of rands selling stuff. If you think of your philodendron with the variegated one, just a slip of that can go for sometimes up to 10. We're getting such vibrant plants. I bought a philodendron the other day called Fire. It's gorgeous as the leaves unfurl. We're getting those lovely creams. So tropical plants for indoor are coming back big way.
Oh, how wonderful. Big way. Absolutely wonderful. Now, we do have a couple of comments come in as well. Sister Razia says, Salams, Rabia, had to share this hint I came across. Take toilet roll holder, fill with good compost, put your seeds in and start to ground them. I did that, waiting for results. You could do that, yes. You could fill your toilet rolls with, it kind of stops the roots from getting out to one another, and it really does kind of maintain it until, of course, the toilet roll breaks down. It's kind of a replacement for a pot. If you're just using seedlings, that is something you can do. But somebody asked a question earlier on that I want to give to Lindsay, and that is, I'm not sure if you are able to assist. It's with regard to growing cardamom, which is ilachi, growing cardamom in Durban, and she said apparently it grows very well. Do you have any advice or tips for growing cardamom?
I've never grown it before.
Okay.
Says yes, you can grow cardamom in particularly in coastal and warm, humid areas like Durban. It requires a shaded, consistent moisture, rich soil, and temperatures between 15 and 29. So we have no problem there. I've never grown it myself, unfortunately, but you can grow it in containers as well.
Yes. So I've had a little success, not much success with my cardamom, I'll be honest. I actually just bought the green cardamom pods because I think that's the freshest you can get. The white are very dry, and popped them open and put those seeds into some tissue paper, just the old school way that you learn at school to grow beans. And yes, it did make a little root, and yes, I was able to plant it. However, I made the mistake of hardening it off to where it was like in the sun. And so, of course, she died. I'll have to try it again in the shade.
Turmeric also needs shade. People get that. You can put turmeric in the form yellow fast than they do when they start. We never stopped looking. How much you know? I was in a garden one day and I saw this plant in flower. And I thought, that looks like it. Why is it growing in the shade? And the gardener said to me, the owner of the home, she said to me, you have to give your turmeric some shade, and that is what I do now. And it's very successful. So a lot of these tuber-based things. And if I could just say, I know we're not talking about today. Early morning sun. That is when your sap is rising in your vegetables. That's when it's the harvest. But that little bit of late afternoon shade can often be a blessing, because especially with spinach and your leafy crops. We've had a hot Durban day. By the time you get out into your garden in the afternoon, they're completely wilted. So now you're doing damage control. If you put them or use another crop to shade them a little bit. And the same goes for roses. Roses are a full sun plant, but that little bit of afternoon shade can do wonders.
Absolutely. So, in Durban, we do have a lot of open ground, but there's also a lot of trees and things, and you can use the shade of other plants, as you said, to shade up, a little bit. But of course, you don't want to plant things too much in the shade. Cardamom, as we've seen, I hope that answers the listener's question, is a plant that does require a little bit of shade. In fact, I'm Googling it now, and it says it actually thrives in full shade. So I wonder if this could grow kind of on a patio maybe. I don't know how big it will grow, but I'm certainly going to try. It does look like a lovely plant. If you Google that, dear listener, you will see it's got long, slender leaves, almost like a slender bay leaf, but it's like all these stalks popping out of the ground with these little leaves on them. So I think it makes quite a nice structural plant, not like grass. So go ahead and try it. And here's the challenge to you, dear listener. Do you know what? Why don't you grow that ilachi, that cardamom, and keep us posted on the progress? I challenge you to send us photographs and send us your tips and your learning tricks so that other people can learn. Another message that has come through: how are you, Rabia? I know I'm going off topic, but can you please give me the recipe you gave out last week for cockroaches? All right, well, that's very simple, folks. It's Epsom salts, bicarbonate of soda, icing sugar, equal quantities of all three. Add enough water to make a paste, and hide that paste behind drawers, away from pets, behind drawers, near drains. The roaches eat it, take it home, and then all the roaches are gone. But that's another story for another day. There's your recipe. Going back to Lindsay, you were telling us about color, and now we're preparing now for the winter, right? So what advice do you have for us if we are starting off? You've covered small spaces. There's so much you could teach us, but tell us more from your knowledge what we should be doing and how we should be moving towards renovating, restoring, or completely changing our gardens.
Are you talking more from a design point of view or maintenance?
I think both, because it is a good time for design, but there's some of us who already have gardens. So as we are maintaining things, how do we know what to change, when to change, maybe rotating things?
I think soil health, you touched on that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And soil health is key to any garden at any time of the year. But our rainfall, and we haven't had much rain this year in Durban, whereas our soils are dry, very dry. And I don't know where most of your readers live, but certainly up here in Hillcrest, where I am, we are having leaves falling off the old trees in past and far. The hangover from all the trees from England many moons ago. And those leaves are absolutely precious. They're free. Nobody is going to complain if you go. They I encourage especially the Winston Park area, because they've got that avenue of trees. Take bags and go and raid their neighbours. Otherwise, they don't have manpower. So grab those leaves, either compost them, put them straight onto your soil, any bare patches. That is what you don't want to be a garden bed.
Yeah.
At this time of year, all of your succulents to the fore. So we're going to have an explosion of yellows and oranges and orange reds in our aloes and that. Sorry. I can't hear you, Rabia.
He's coming to help us because we've lost our sound with Lindsay. But there we go. Okay, Lindsay's back. Thank you so much. Lindsay, yes, you were saying, I'm sorry we didn't hear you.
Okay. How much back up?
Well, the last we heard was you were about to tell us. You were about to start telling us about the maintenance and when you're out in the garden and and then you kind of disappeared.
Okay, cool. Right. So I was just saying that because we haven't had much rain, we must be caused quite dry. Either go and buy compost and put it on, or go and collect leaves from your suburbs and lay those
leaves down.
Those very is the kind leaves, series of little microorganisms growing, which helps birds to feed, which helps monkeys to feed, pepper popping through your garden. And then in terms of colour, you are now going to have explosions, yellows, oranges, reds, your succulent fallows, aloes, and also you've got some very vibrant annual colours coming through. Your poppies, your pansies, what else is coming through now? I want to think of salvias. But you've got a lot of vibrant colours coming through for which warm a garden, and that's important. A lot of your indigenous grasses will be browning over now. That is the time to leave them so that the birds can feed off the remnants of the seed, and then those we will cut of winter and cut them very short. Very short, so that when the new growth comes through, it's not stunted by the old growth that was on the plant.
Yes, I recall now you did say, the municipality can't handle all of the leaves, go and get some. And yet we have listeners that are actually raking out the leaves off their garden beds and throwing them in the compost. And I'm like, no, don't take it off the beds. Don't leave it there. Those are one of our guests said, it's God's blanket. Yes. Allah's blanket on the earth. We need those leaves. But as a little segue, and I know that you enjoy the healing stuff as well, you were talking about colour. And so colour and warmth. And somebody asked about cardamom. So I thought, colour, warmth, colds and flus, but also feeling nice and warm, and cardamom, and my brain went zing, cardamom and rose honey. Let's make that. So a cardamom and rose honey recipe for all of my dear listeners. Dearie darlings, what you need is 1 cup of raw honey, 1 tablespoon of your cardamom, your elati seeds, just the seeds, just lightly bruise them, run your rolling pin over them if you want, and 1 tablespoon of dry rose petals, ideally organic, right? Because we don't want pesticides in our honey. Now you're going to take those dry ingredients, the cardamom and the rose petals, and you're going to fill a jar, however big you want. And then you're going to warm the honey gently warm the honey. Do not let it go above 40 degrees centigrade. If you have a candy thermometer, this is the time to whip it out and use it. And don't let it go above 40 degrees. When the honey is gently warmed, liquid enough to run, you pour that honey over those beautiful rose petals and those cardamom, and you close that off, and then you put it away in a sunny window for 2 weeks. And what you do every day, you just turn it around. Just turn it around, turn the honey around, and after 2 weeks you have this beautiful honey. And what does this honey do for you? You can put it into a cup of tea and you have a beautiful warm cardamom, which means again antiviral, antiseptic, digestive aid, wonderful, restorative, blood purifier and cleanser. You have the rose petals, which are beautiful for our skin from the inside out. And rose petals are also filled with vitamin C, which is beautiful. So have that honey, and then of course you've got the honey, which is soothing for the sore throats. So we need to get Sibonisi here to make himself some cardamom and rose petal honey. So prepare for the winter with that. How beautiful it is. Do we need to take ads? Just one. Oh, okay. Let's just take one ad. I'm so sorry, folks. We'll be back right after this. I'm so enjoying my time with Lindsay that I kind of don't even want to do the ad, but we have to. So we'll be back after this.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickville Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
We're back on Green Thumbs Up, the pulse of the planet, and we have with us Lindsay Gray, who's telling us all about gardening. And honestly, listening to her, my heart is just warmed up completely. This is really the kind of soulful gardening feelings that we want to get when we're growing our gardens. And just before the break, I mentioned cardamom honey and how you can use that kind of to warm your body after a day's chill or a hard day's work or a cold or a flu that you're coming down with. But you know, it's also yummy if you want to put that onto some nice artisanal bread, or maybe you've made some homemade sourdough, which is so easy to make, folks. It really, really is. But let's get back to the gardening of things. Lindsay, you have a school of gardening. Tell us a little bit about what you do in that school, and what kind of things people can look forward to in your school of gardening should they wish to contact you.
Super. So the idea is to inspire gardeners to garden and with confidence, and then also to work in the industry. So those are the two avenues that I explore. What is most exciting, and I've been doing it for 12 years now, training gardening staff. I cannot tell you how rewarding this is, because you know we are harsh on us. We expect them to know everything, but we forget that gardening is not a subject in school. And once gardener has been on our training courses, it's just like a light comes on. You know, they get a certificate. They go on to additional work. Trained Durban cleaning company. And one of the phrases that came through my facilitator was they had felt young before they came to the course. Now they felt experienced, and that just makes my heart sing. I train all over Africa. I train in Europe, not so much America, because I don't think Singletons can't live us anyway. So I train. I've got students in Belgium. I've had Dubai, believe it or not. Not so much England, because they have a lot of their own students. I mean, a lot of their own schools. But being able to teach by correspondence gives me such a wonderful reach. And one of my passions is to get gardening in the continent of Africa with African plants. Because we are very much suffering on the hangover of good old British favourites. And there are so many indigenous plants in Zambia, in Uganda, that will feed the wildlife, feed the birds. So I'm networking with people up the continent. I've got a lot of students in Zimbabwe, and then also when I'm training in Gauteng, I do my 3-day masterclasses. Sometimes fly in to come and visit Zambian gardening Monday, so that's very exciting. Just reaching out as far as I can. In-house workshops, in and on demand, get there or not. And then the correspondence is the biggie. I even have a correspondence course for gardeners.
That's wonderful.
Gardening stuff.
So before we say goodbye to you, can we ask you to just share those details with us? How can people contact you?
Well, I think the easiest is WhatsApp. My number is 082 4449 237. And just their name and one word was what they'd like to explore, like staff training or veggies or something. The website is www.schooldesign.com, and then the email address is info@schooldesign.com. So ways that's actively there too. I'd any assistance as I can.
Oh, that is wonderful. Folks, you have the details there, School of Gardening Design. You can also contact us here in studio if you would like Lindsay's number and you missed it, and we will share that with you with her permission. And thank you so much, Lindsay, for this week. Now, you all know that, and you should, if you don't know, you will know now, that I love to make kvass, which is, of course, a probiotic drink, which is really, really good for gut health. And as we're going into the winter, the way that you kind of steer clear of colds and flus predominantly is make sure that you have taken something to deparasite yourself. So we've covered that in the shows. You've got your cloves, your pumpkin seeds, you've got your artemisia, you've got, so your South African wormwood, your will also help you with that. There's a brilliant kind of concoction that they make, and for in most of the Diskims and the Clicks and those places, they all have their own little concoctions for deworming. But be sure that if you are deworming naturally, that you take a binder so that the toxins released by the dying of parasites don't end up kind of making you feel really sick. So binders, the best one of course is, for me, activated charcoal. You could also take zeolite if you like, but let's get on with the kvass. Kvass I made this week, and I also made some fermented lemons. So this is how I make my kvass. You take a big jar, clean it out nicely, put some boiling water in, whatever size jar you think you're going to be able to drink through, because the beetroot that you're going to use for that kvass drink, you can use 3 times over. So you're going to cut up your beetroot with the skin on. Just remove the root part at the bottom and the top part. Just chop the top and the bottom. And then cut up your beetroot. Do not grate it, because if you grate it, then it is too fine. It fizzes too much. You get an alcoholic drink, which then goes straight into vinegar very fast, and you've lost the plot, right? So cut it into chunks, put it into your jar, and then add, so a third of your jar say 1.5, tablespoons. It's fine. If you're using 6 large beetroots, well, then you could get away with maybe 3. So don't over sugarize the thing, but think to yourself, for every 2 medium-sized beetroots, I'm going to use a tablespoon of sugar. And this is kind of the general gist of things over there. Now, you're going to put the sugar over your beetroot, and you're going to add to that 1 teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of salt. Ideally use sea salt. Ideally use non-iodated salt, because that's the best kind. Now that is going to balance things out for you, and you're going to fill the jar up with water. You're wanting water that is not tap water. If you're going to use tap water, it needs to stand at least 24 to 48 hours. You're going to ideally use bottled water, spring water, mineral water, those kinds of waters. And you put the lid on, leaving a gap of about 2 centimeters at the top of the jar. 2 to 5 centimeters is more than enough, because every day you're going to stir this. So you open the bottle to burp it, and you stir it, and you close it again, and then you leave it. In the temperatures we now have, within 4 days or so, if you tap the glass, you're going to find that bubbles rise up along the outside. Now you know that your kvass is busy fermenting, and it is working. It eventually becomes quite fizzy, and it is a crisp, cool drink with a slight tart flavor. Can you make it without the salt? Yes, you can. Should you? No, because the salt adds the hydrolyzing element to it to keep your body hydrated, which is very important, particularly if you've done a parasite cleanse. Gosh, I've got 3 minutes to go. Let me race through this. We also want to do the fermented lemons. Now, fermented lemons can be the long route or the short route. The way I make mine is I take a shortcut. The traditional way, you can do a Chinese form of fermented lemon, and that's the one that I do. I get my lemons, and I take a big pot of water, fill it up, bring it to a boil, and I dunk the whole lemon into that boiling water. Put a timer on for 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes. You dunk your lemons in, they go for 3 minutes, you take them out and immediately put them into cold water. You want to stop that cooking process. The reason for this is you want to soften the skin of the lemon. Not every lemon has a thin skin. If you're using Meyer lemons, you might not need to do that, but if you're using any other hybrid lemon, or even some of the heirloom lemons can have a thicker skin and a lot of white pith, then you're wanting to dunk them and leave them in for 3 minutes. Straight into the cold water, and then you slice them. Slice them and carefully remove every pip that you can, because the pips are going to make it kind of bitter. Okay, so you've got your sliced lemons, you've got your clean jar. This takes absolutely no water. So you're going to take those sliced lemons, you're going to take sea salt. So you're going to work on a premise of 2 to 3% of sea salt for your lemons. So weigh the amount of lemon slices you have, and you're going to take 2 to 3% of sea salt for that, and you're going to rub those lemon slices out. Let those juices begin to fall. Rub, massage it so you can break all of the little membranes inside and soften the pith and rub it out nicely. Then you're putting that into your glass jar, and you're going to cover up with additional lemon juice, not bottled lemon juice, because that contains preservatives that's going to completely, bugger up your recipe. So get some additional lemons. You need quite a few lemons for this. Cut them up, squeeze them, make sure it covers the lemons. Now, into that, you can add some cardamom. You can add some black pepper. So there's your cardamom coming in. Some black pepper, some cardamom, and some bay leaves. You could also add garlic if you wanted to. And now the water, the liquid, no water here, the liquid of the lemons must go right up to the surface. It must cover all of those lemons. Seal the jar. Every day you just burp the jar, close it again, turn it upside down. Keep rotating it once a day. It'll take you about 4 to 5 days, and you have beautiful preserved lemons. How do you use them? Take a piece out, wash it, and then you can eat it as is, or take a piece out, use it as is in your recipes, or pop it into your cup of tea for a nourishing, digestive cleansing, gut health balancing recipe. It is 10 o'clock, folks. It is time for the news, and our show has unfortunately come to an end. So I raced through that. If you need that recipe once again, please do let me know. 0609041056, and we will send it to you. A quick notice here: Sister Salma Kazi Wahab, who is doing the Sunday Lounge, is not going to be at the Magma this morning, unfortunately, due to problems on the road, but she is making her way here into studio, so you will be able to listen to the Sunday Lounge here. I want to say a huge big thank you once again to Lindsay Gray, who was with us, gave us of her valuable time, and we hope we will speak with her again soon. What a wonderful, wonderful soul, doing so much for our gardens.